Cincinnati Reds display their World Championship banner as it's the traditional National League opener in Cincinnati on Monday afternoon. The Reds get their rings. Eric Davis has his, and he gets some busty from teammate Barry Larkin in the rain. And a ring presented to Shotzi, the Reds mascot, as it's presented by Reds owner Marge Schott. And doesn't Shotzi look thrilled about that? The replacement umpire is on hand as the umpire's strike has been settled, but the umps not ready for their assignment, so the replacement umpires would take over. Mike Scott on the mound for the Astros, and he'd get some defensive support in the bottom of the third, as it's a nice sliding catch by Craig Biggio. And then Biggio on the top of the fourth would supply some offense for Houston. He hits a home run, solo blast off Red starter Tom Browning, and it stakes the Astros to a 1-0 lead. But in the bottom of the fourth, the Reds would get that run back and then some. Here it's Barry Larkin with the line drive home run off Scott, and the solo blast would tie the game at 1 apiece. Then the Reds would continue their offensive onslaught as Scott would surrender this RBI double to Chris Sabo. As it goes down the left field line, Paul O'Neill comes in to score for the Reds as they take a 2-1 lead. And then with the bases loaded still in the bottom of the fourth, Scott would surrender this 3-run double to the opposing pitcher Tom Browning, who nails this one right into the right field corner. On the play, Sabo, Jeff Reed, and Mariano Duncan score, and the Reds take a 5-1 lead over the Astros. They'd add another run, and then there'd be a rain delay in the top of the sixth with Cincinnati leading 6-1. Meanwhile, Browning would return to form. Here in the top of the seventh, he strikes out Luis Gonzalez, one of 4 strikeouts that he would get in 8 1/3 innings of work. But in the top of the ninth, Reds manager Lou Piniella would have to squirm. Houston would get 1 run in, and then after Browning would come out, Rob Dibble comes in, and with the bases loaded, he gets Jeff Bagwell to line to the shortstop Barry Larkin. For an unassisted double play, the Reds win 6-2. Browning the winner, Scott the loser, Dibble the save.
Get 2 Toronto replacements were used instead on opening day in Toronto, 1991, Boston against the Blue Jays. Bottom of the first inning, Roger Clemens with one of 2 strikeouts. This one on John Olerud. He also gave up 2 base hits in the inning. He also gave up a sac fly in the bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Toronto. From the top of the third, Mike Greenwell will pull a base hit to right field off of Dave Stieb with the bases full. Tony Pena comes in to score for Boston, and this game is knotted at 1 apiece. Then Jack Clark will step up with the bases loaded for the Red Sox, and he rips Dave Stieb's pitch into the left field seats for a grand slam as Clark picks up Wade Boggs, Jody Reed, and Greenwell for the Red Sox, and that gave Boston a 5-1 lead over Toronto. For Clark on his career, that's grand slam number 8, and it gave Boston a 4-run lead in the third inning. Another look at the home run swing by Jack Clark. Bottom of the fifth inning, Roger Clemens retired 15 batters in the middle part of this ball game. Here striking out Devon White to end the fifth. And the same score, 5-1 through 7 innings. Clemens stayed in to pitch 8 innings of 1-run ball, striking out 6 Blue Jays and scattering 6 hits. The ball was definitely bouncing the right way for Red Sox skipper Joe Morgan on this Monday, opening day. Top of the 8th inning, Ellis Burks will double down the left field line for the Bo Sox. Wade Boggs comes in to score from second base, and that gave the Red Sox a 5-run lead, 6-1 over the Toronto Blue Jays, much to the delight of some of the younger fans in attendance. Bottom of the 9th inning, Joe Carter at bat, and he'll follow former Padres teammate Jack Clark's lead as Carter will hit a solo homer to left field off of reliever Jeff Gray. That made the score 6-2 Boston. They go on to win by that final score of 6-2. Clemens picking up his first victory of the season, while Dave Stieb drops the home opener in his 0-1.
Final opening day at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore finds the Oriole faithful paying tribute to the veterans of the Persian Gulf War as they were honored in pregame ceremonies. Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney was introduced, and he got a nice standing ovation. And then Dan Quayle, the Vice President of the United States, threw out the honorary first pitch. The Baltimore Orioles will be moving to their new Camden Yards Stadium at the start of the 1992 season. As for this game between the Orioles and the White Sox, here in the bottom of the first inning, Oriole newcomer Glenn Davis comes up and hits a double into the left field corner. This coming off starter Jack McDowell. Cal Ripken scores, and the Orioles go on top by a score of 1-0. In the top of the second, though, the White Sox get things going when Sammy Sosa comes up, and he will smack a 3-run home run to left field. This coming off starter Jeff Ballard. Carlton Fisk and Corey Snyder both score, and the White Sox go on top by a score of 3-1. Later on in the bottom of the second inning, Vice President Dan Quayle tries a little play-by-play and gets a few tips from Oriole announcer Jim Palmer.
1-0 the count to Worthington. 1 out, nobody on here in the second. White Sox ahead 3-1. And Mr. Vice President, you ever do any play-by-play?
I've done a little bit of play-by-play. I don't know how good I am, but you want me to try a little bit?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me tell you who's hitting. Craig Worthington's hitting for the Orioles.
All right. And
Oh, here's the lineup, as a matter of fact, right here.
the count is 2 balls and no strikes. 1 out. Well, that 1 strike, 2 balls.
In the top of the sixth inning, the White Sox add to their lead when Carlton Fisk comes up and hits a single back up the middle. Carlton Fisk, playing in his 20th season in the major leagues, knocks in Robin Ventura, and the White Sox lead is at 4-1. Very next batter, Corey Snyder, with a single into center field. Frank Thomas scores, and the White Sox go on top by a score of 5-1, as this would highlight a 5-run sixth inning, as the White Sox would lead at 8-1 after 6 innings. In the top of the eighth now, with the Sox up still 8-1, Sammy Sosa with a solo home run to left field. Sammy Sosa with his second home run of the day. He finished with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs, as the Sox go on top by a score of 9-1. And then finally in the bottom of the ninth inning, former Red Sox Dwight Evans will ground out 5-3 to end it. A brilliant afternoon for Jack McDowell, the White Sox starter, as he goes the distance for a 4-hitter. He also struck out 10 batters, as the White Sox win it 9-1. McDowell with the win, his record 1-0. Jeff Ballard with the loss, his record drops to 0-1.
Those cameras, and it's another opening day. Cleveland at Kansas City to play the Royals. The Royals without Bo Jackson, who was released earlier in the spring. First and third, Alex Cole on third base for the Indians on top of the first inning. Albert Bell, ground ball to third base. Kevin Seitzer throws the ball high home. Alex Cole comes in safely, and it's 1-0 Cleveland. Bottom of the second inning, Kirk Gibson will reach out to hit the ball pitched by Greg Swindell. As he hits it down the first base line into right field, he races around the bases. He beats a throw to third base. He has a sliding triple, and Gibson is psyched by his accomplishment. Mike McFarland will drive in Gibson as he'll get a base hit to left field off of Swindell. Gibson will trot home with the first run for the Royals, and we're tied up at 1 apiece. Still in the bottom half of the second inning, Kurt Stillwell will double the left field off of Swindell down the line. McFarland comes in to score from second, and the Kansas City Royals lead the Cleveland Indians 2-1 after 2 innings of play at Royal Stadium. Move now to the bottom of the third inning. Gibson will get a base hit to right center field. George Brett will chug home from second base to give Kansas City a 2-run lead, 3-1. Top of the fourth inning, Albert Bell, who hit 11 home runs this spring, will hit a solo homer to lead off the fourth inning to center field. This came off of Brett Saberhagen, and it cut the Kansas City lead to 1 run. It's now 3-2 through 3.5 innings of play. The Royals would get back the Albert Bell home run in the bottom of the fifth inning. Danny Tartable get a double off the base of the center field wall off of Swindell. George Brett will come in to score for the Kansas City Royals. Comes in from first base, so he makes it all the way around, and it is now 4-2 Kansas City through 5 innings of play at Royal Stadium, as George Brett slides home safely ahead of the throw. That was pretty much the action in this ball game. Brett Saberhagen picked up the win. He went 7 innings, striking out 5, including Carlos Baerga here in the 6th, as the Kansas City Royals win 4-2. Greg Swindell is the loser in the